Well, we're heading on our first camping trip. At least for a couple days. It's super close, but and we have to still work, so we're both taking vehicles. But towing today, it is 32 mile an hour gusts and 22 mile an hour winds. So it'll be interesting. Kind of first time pulling with it in the 20 mile an hour wind. So let's see how that goes.
We found a place to camp. There's a Nebraska Department of Resources spot that's open, and you do not have to have reservations. So since we can go work or do whatever from the camper if we need to, we are headed out there on Sunday because she said there should be plenty of spots, and gonna go do some camping. Finally test it out, actually use the camper for the first time. So I think I might be more nervous about, woo, Dad got blown around there. I think I might be more nervous about the camper working for our family. Like, this is where I'm nervous. Steve's nervous about it working with the car and all that kind of stuff, and I'm nervous about making sure that it works for our family. But we're getting close, and so that we can, we've got both cars so that Steve can go to work, and we've got some errands to run, so we can do all that. But better, yes, and we have the dog. But we'll see you when we get there.
Well, that went really well. We are just pulling into the campsite. Things were perfectly fine. We did use a lot of energy, but I figured that it was definitely a headwind. And we did 55, in between 55 and 60 most of the way, and things went really well. I'm very impressed with how it's handling the trailer and the wind situation that we have. So, yay, that's good.
Come here. No, come here. What are you doing? What are you doing, Tinker? What are you doing? Trying to get ground squirrels? So this morning we're gonna make some campfire donuts. They're a favorite recipe of ours. It's still a little chilly out here this morning, so you'll have to forgive the weird attire. First thing you need is, I get the honey butter flaky grands, and we're gonna cut them into donut holes first, and then we'll get our toppings ready. Steve usually tests the oil temperature with the donut holes.
And then you're gonna need this.
Did you make sure and say this one's for you, Bill?
I did not. Bill, this recipe's for you. So I try to make them even thickness on all sides so they cook well. So this is just a 1-inch like biscuit cutter thing that we found. And it makes it super easy. You just punch it, twist it a little bit, it comes in there, and it pops right out.
And
Manny, your turn.
And you've got these delicious little donut holes.
There is no particular measure of ingredients, but we just use cinnamon, brown sugar, and then by accident we figured out that a little bit of regular sugar helps the stuff stick a little bit better too. So,
and makes it taste better.
We're gonna
add a little bit of that.
A little bit of this.
A little bit of that. We didn't have any sugar and our grandpa couldn't find any, so he went to the store and bought this, and it actually made it taste really good.
A
little bit of that.
And a little bit of our brown sugar.
And then brown sugar.
It is pretty delicious. Yeah, it's pretty delicious, so that's why we're making it.
So I put some water in there, just make sure the oil is hot enough. Just like frying some stuff. And then I like to utilize the donut holes to make sure that the water, I'm not cooking in water, it is vegetable oil, that the vegetable oil is hot enough. And get it right before you actually do the donuts. I feel like the donuts are a little sacred, so you want to make sure that those get cooked properly. It appears like it's not hot enough, but we normally have a smaller cast iron pan, and that works a little bit better. Just gets the oil hotter faster. What else?
Cook them till they're golden brown and pull them out.
Cook them till they're golden brown.
And then we do the sugar part.
The oil's getting just about right. And that's why I always do the donut holes first, just because, if you mess them up, that's not as big a deal.
So much smoke.
So move.
Once these are done, then we can go ahead and put the donuts in there. Make sure the other side is cooked. Is it cooked enough, Mom?
Looks pretty good.
The ones are bigger.
So pretty quickly, you want to get it into the cinnamon and sugar. Oh, Kennedy, one at a time. And then roll it around.
Just like this.
It's okay. There's an extra bonus piece.
The royal donut. I want to put the next one in, Daddy.
That's fine. Good job, dude.
It's right down in there. Yay! There's the second royal donut. There's the third royal donut. And that's the king. And that's the queen. That's the queen. That's the queen. We're getting the queen in her dress.
That's a wrap. There's our campfire donuts. Enjoy. So I was back at the camper doing some work while Steve and the kids were out fishing. Got that done, so now I'm gonna go find them, even though it's still cold. So the dog is not supposed to be on the bed, and I don't know if I can, yeah, look who's in there ignoring me. Troublemaker. Let's use the truck for important job here. Looks like a good plug holder. So, my super nice husband brought bikes for everyone else during this camping trip, but not for me. So I'm gonna take the car because they are a little ways away. If I walked, it would take me a while. So we're gonna take the Tesla. You guys fishing or riding bikes?
We're fishing. The boys are fishing.
How's the fishing going, Dad?
Big goose egg. The kids wanted to try a new thing, so we put some lures on here.
Oh, should this be what type of instrument?
What are you guys doing?
Making music with rocks and water.
What if the Loch Ness Monster comes up out of there and eats you?
We'll ride.
There you go.
Is this a good flat one? I skipped it!
We're off to go explore on a hike. We're gonna go take a little hike and see what's over here.
There's a lot of people fishing out here. Must be some good fish. It's walleye season, so a lot of people fishing for walleye. Just a lot of boats. Obviously people needing to get outdoors and do something. But this is a beautiful lake. Definitely a fishing lake. It's got a lot of brush out in the middle of the lake.
Well, it wasn't really a destination hike, but it was still fun to walk all the way across the lake and like be in the middle of the lake the whole time we were walking. So that was fun. It was good to get out and get some exercise. Now we're gonna go back and I think check on how the car's charging. We'll see. We gonna check on the charging situation?
Yes, we have a 30 amp site, so I bought an adapter for the Tesla charger that comes with the vehicle to downgrade to a 30 amp, and yeah, it's been working. I also have been switching to just the 15 amp one when we don't need as much charge and we want to utilize more power in the camper. So it's been working pretty well. Obviously the best case scenario would be getting a site with a 50 amp. Most of them have 50 and 30, so you could plug our trailer in and the car and it would be able to fully charge. One of the things I did figure out is that the old Tesla charger actually will charge about 8 amps more. It'll actually charge up to 40 amps rather than the one that come with this car actually just does 32 amps. So I may be purchasing that, I don't know yet. We have a extension cord for a 50 amp, which I think will come in really handy for a couple different reasons. We had it for our last camper that we had. It ran off of 50 amp service. Anyways, we can hook that straight up to that, and then we can actually put the adapter for the 30 amp on the end of that, which works better than actually just having it off of the actual Tesla charger. Let me show you that. So this is the adapter that I bought. There is another one out there. After using this one, it potentially could be better, but this one works really well with the extension cord because I can just plug it in and the extension cord kind of holds it up. If you actually plug it straight into the actual Tesla charger, it kind of pulls it down. It still charges, but I just don't feel as safe with that. It's not as tight connected to it. So, but anyways, that will do 30 amps of charging, which you should reduce it down to 24 amps, so you're only charging at 80% capacity of what this can do. So
what all do you have here? So you have the charger, you have the 50 amp extension cord, and then another extension cord for when we're using the more amps in the camper?
Yeah, so I just have the 15 amp extension cord. It's just a regular extension cord that I can hook up to the Tesla charger, which you get about 4 miles per hour on our Model X, which If you're not going anywhere, that's not terrible, but if you do come in late, and I can see this, if you do come in late and you need a quicker charge, you're gonna wanna hook it up to a 30 or 50 amp just to get more miles for the next day, especially if you're either moving on or you wanna go explore an area.
So we're plugged into the 30 amp right now. We're getting 8, we've seen 9 miles an hour, so this is what we're getting for charging at the campground, plugged into 30 amp. So it's not nothing, but
the reason it's gonna be significantly lower than your 50 amp is because it's 120 volt. So when you hook up to a 50 amp, then it's 220, 240, however you look at it.
well, it could still, you know, get you enough to get to a supercharger by morning time if you plugged in all night. You know?
Yeah, when you're not sitting in the car, it gets 9 miles per hour, a little bit above that. And so, yeah, if you don't drain it all the way, you don't need a ton.
So even if you're not by a gas station like you would be with your truck, you still have the possibility of getting somewhere. And it might get you enough to get to where you want to go for fun and all that good stuff. So not too shabby. I'll be interested to see what the difference is with 50 amp. Let's say it's working out relatively well to charge the car. We had to bring both vehicles out because we're just kind of camping in the middle of the week. Steve has Tuesdays off right now, so we found out that we could come to this site first come first serve, and our best chance of being able to get a spot was to come early in the week. So that's what we did. So I needed a car to get a few places and run a few errands and do some things we needed to do, and Steve needed a car to get to work. So we had to have both cars, and we needed to be able to charge so that Steve could get back and forth from home. So, but it's worked out pretty well. I would say it's so far it seems doable to be able to charge the car at a site, and it's not even a 50 amp site. So yeah, I mean, a 50 amp is gonna, first of all, it's gonna be 220 volt, plus it's gonna be higher amperage, so you're gonna get a lot more power into the car a lot faster when you do that. I do have this connector that ties the 15 and the 30 amp together to make an actual 50 amp connection. Well, it would be 45 amps. I haven't tried that. This, I know it won't work if it has a GFI connected to it. This campsite actually doesn't. This campsite doesn't, so I may end up trying that out to see if that works or not. well,
All done.
we're dumping the tanks
Yeah.
to head home.
So yeah, we are getting ready to go home, and I don't know what else.
It was good to get away for a little bit from the house and just actually get a chance to test out the camper, and it did work out. I think one of the biggest things I was worried about is that we were going to run out of water really fast, and we didn't use more than 1/3 of the tank of water, and we went to go dump it, like the fresh water, and we had tons left. So I don't think I need to worry about that anymore. We were able to charge the car, and the camper worked. So we got to figure out a few more things this last few days.
Yeah, it's about, what, 40 miles?
Yeah.
Maybe 50 miles. So we knew it'd make it here. And so that was, you know, part of the test, was making it here and then being able for me to go to work. And we went exploring a little bit yesterday to a neighboring town that had a lot of flooding last year.
Yeah.
And so we were able to drive around and still have plenty of charge.
Yeah, it was no big deal. So, but this will be a short trip home, like Steve said, about 40 miles, but he's got 271 on the battery right now, left on the battery. So we'll jump in when we get home just to make sure we tell you what the consumption was like on this trip. With little wind, we'll tell you all the stats and everything, but I think it'll be an easy drive.
Yep. So we'll see you when we get home.
Well, we made it, and it looks like he did pretty good on consumption on the way home, even with a 12-mile-an-hour crosswind.
Yeah, it was coming directly to the side of us, a little bit in front of us, so a little bit of a headwind, but it was what weather.com said was 12 mile an hour, so
It's a decent, like, not...
sometimes it felt like it was worse than that, but
Yeah. But you did, like, what, 861? Is that what it said?
I think so. There's is a little over 35 miles. I don't remember how many miles it was, but close to 40. 7 of that was in town, just doing speed limit in town. But for the most part, it was doing 60 mile an hour. So.
Yeah. I'll get the exact number for you. I'll let you know.
And then,
I think I can see it from right here. Yeah, 861 kilowatts
yeah.
per mile, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, you know, if you have any other questions about anything else, some people have been asking about consumption, and we've been trying to put that in the video. So if there's anything specific, just ask us specifically, and we can let you know on that, whether that's watt hours per mile or, you know, consumption as in kilowatt hours or anything like that. Next week, we're hoping to do, well, no, not next week. In a couple weeks, we're hoping to do a little bit longer of a trip. And so then that's going to be trying to determine if we want to go a little bit further to get to a fast charger, a supercharger, or if we try going a direct route and just stopping at a 50 amp place and maybe stopping for a little while just to juice up.
Yeah.
But we gotta make that decision. May even be a game day decision because, you know,
Depending on wind.
If the wind's pushing us there, we might as well go the shortest route. So
yeah. I was gonna look and see how many miles. So now he has 155 miles left. So eats up a good chunk, but we're going to get this thing unhooked. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you get notifications for when our videos come out. And we'll see you on the trail.